It seems like The Acolyte came out 2 or 3 years ago, but in fact, it was only last year. It was only last year when The Acolyte came out, and it was an absolute disaster, a predictable one for Disney Star Wars. When you let activists run your company and you hire activists and all they want to do is put that into an IP or a franchise, you get a disaster like The Acolyte. And of course, it summarily got canceled. No season 2, nothing else for The Acolyte. A very good decision by Disney to cancel this. However, it's finally getting the appreciation that it deserves, at least according to some of the fan base, because this came out yesterday. Congratulations to the sound editing team of The Acolyte for their Emmy nomination. Yes, The Acolyte is officially an Emmy nominee, which is kind of sad, but it's for outstanding sound editing for a comedy or drama series, half hour, #Emmys. Well, because of the specific wording of this and the category it's nominated for, I got to be real, that provided a lot of opportunities for comedy out there. Because yes, as Nerdrotic says, Acolyte was the best comedy of 2024. He might not be wrong with that. There was a lot of laughter that we had. Maybe I may have laughed more about The Acolyte and reviewing The Acolyte than almost anything else. And as you can see, it looks like some other people might feel that way. Just look at this comment section. The edited sound are of millions of voices who suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. Somebody says Battlefront 3. This guy said, hey, remember how much goes into this show. So he loves it. Borg the Pig, he loves it. They deserve recognition, regardless of how you view the show itself. Definitely got it right with the comedy. Congratulations on your comedy nomination. This series deserves more content. I agree, Adam Webb, and I'm making more content based off this series as we speak. Where else? Bravo for the comedy win, Star Wars. The Power of Many, LOL. This series was indeed a comedy. You have a lot of that out there. Sound editing is fair enough, someone says. Yeah, the show sucks, but sound-wise, I can understand why it was nominated. And you kind of have similar things across all these, whether it's Star Wars Holocron, Star Wars The Direct, tweeting this thing out. Finally, a comedy that deserves the nod. Well, it would never have been for writing, that's for sure. It does feel like it came out 3 years ago, but no, it was in June of 2024. It was a year ago, basically. That's wild, because it feels like it was so much longer ago than that, doesn't it? It's absolutely crazy. But one thing that we can all agree upon is if you classify The Acolyte as a comedy, which it should be, in a very sad way, it's funny in a sad way, but if you classify it as a comedy, no reason you shouldn't throw it that old pity Emmy nomination for sound editing. For a lot of us, it might have been tough to appreciate the sound editing when you had, I don't know, the power of one, the power of two, the power of many being chanted by lesbian witches. It might have been tough to appreciate it because of the sounds of the laughter that was emanating from you, so maybe you couldn't really appreciate the sound editing. But congratulations, Disney Star Wars. The Acolyte finally getting the recognition it deserves as a joke.